Okay, welcome to CSS Grid tutorial. This is going to be a series on CSS Grid, and we're going to use CodePen. So codepen.io, and I'm logged in here, but what you can do is you can sign up. It's free, and once you sign up you can save all your pens, so it's a little place that you can do all your work on and save your pens and go back later on and play around with them if you want. So we don't need the JavaScript, so I'm just gonna put this over here, and I'm also going to enable, see, this is my CSS pane and this is the HTML. I'm also going to enable, so click on the settings and enable a CSS processor, SAS, CSS, SCSS. So enable that, save and close, and we'll be using that later on. This also has Emmet, a thing called Emmet, built into it, and we're going to use that to write our HTML a little bit faster. I'm going to start with a container. So I'm going to start with each div. So in Emmet you just create a div by just doing a dot, then your name will be the class, so this will create a div with a class, and then I'm going to have another class. I'm going to actually give it some children with a class called item. As you can see, it's coming up, it's popping up there now. I'm also going to give it another class with another class called item and a dash and a dollar sign, which signifies the number, and then times how many items we want, so 6. We can also put something inside each div by doing curly braces, and I'm going to just put in a block and with the actual number again. So it kind of gives you a preview there of what it's after creating with that. So dot just does a div, and then if you put container after that, that's the class, and then this arrow here signifies children. So the children inside in this container will have a class of item, another class of item dash number, the number we have, 1 to 6, and inside in that would be a block with numbers 1 to 6 as well. So it's pretty cool. And once we have that done, we can start doing our CSS. So we create our CSS for a container. We'll give it a background. We'll give it a dark gray background. We'll also give it a margin, or we'll give it a width of 1000 pixels. We'll give it a margin of 20 pixels, and auto to center it. So it's centered here now. So as we're using, we can just do dot item in here, and we'll give each item a background. And we'll give it a background of teal. We'll also size of, say, 22 pixels, and just give it a little bit of padding as well. 20 pixels padding. So now we've got our 6 blocks in there, and in order to turn this into a grid, it's very simple. Just display grid. It's turned into a grid now, but it doesn't do anything because we have to set up our templates. So for that, we just do grid template rows, and we'll give it 2 rows. So we'll give 2 rows. You can set up your rows in pixels or in fractional units or percentages. We'll just start with the pixels. So we'll just do 200 pixels and 200 pixels. We'll do 2 by 3. So we'll do 2 rows and 3 columns. We'll just give them the same again. Pixels. And now we've got our 2 rows and 3 columns. So 2 by 3 grid. In order to see this now, we'll just give it a gap. So you can do, so in order to put gaps in between, you can do row gap to put a gap in, and column gap, or sorry, row column. Well, yeah, it should be column gap. Yeah, it's column gap. Give that 20 pixels. You can mix it up, mix and match if you want. So it's got 20 pixels between the columns and 10 pixels between the rows. You can also, if I just comment that out, you can also just do gap, and that would be 20 pixels. 20 pixels would be the gap, and no, that's 20 pixels gaps for rows and columns. The other thing I'd like to show you here is if I just bring this up a little bit. So I have the inspector open here, but if you just I'm using Chrome, so if you just right click and then click on inspect, you'll see that up here it can also be, if you click on this, it will probably be, if you've never used it before, it'll be down here, but I prefer to have it on the side. So to do that, you just click on those 3 little dots, customize dev tools, and click on the right one to bring it up here on the right. And this is your inspector, so you can debug your designs. So click on grid, and you see it lays out the grid here in easy to see layout. So down here as well, there's styles, computed, and layout. Click on layout, and you can hide the labels. You can, it's better to show the line numbers at the moment, so show the line numbers. You can show the track sizes. That will give you the pixels per track, and we'll just leave it at that for the moment. So the other thing, the last thing I want to show you is that each line is each column has a line. So this is line 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 3 columns. So we have 4 column lines. The same for the rows. So we have 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3 row lines. We can use them later on to position these blocks in different spots on the grid. So that's it. If you got anything from it, subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.